Make sure your insurance doesn't come up short. Get gap cover with ALA. For more information, follow the links in the description. This week, I have been mostly driving Lamborghinis. Lamborghini. If ever there were a brand I want to love but just can't, that's it. Who wouldn't? They make low, wide, loud, shouty things that are the very essence of what should appeal to the red-blooded male. They are the stuff of teenage dreams. Yet, when it comes to the real bit, the driving experience, more often than not, I found them to be a bitter disappointment. Today I'm driving one of the most extreme of all time, the Huracan STO. According to the looks, this should be a GT3 car with number plates. But what's the reality? Well, let's find out in today's episode of JayEmm on Cars. If you've clicked on today's video and for whatever reason you haven't yet subscribed to this channel and you're enjoying it, please do. It costs nothing, but it makes a big difference to me. This is the 10th year I've been doing this, and we are so close to 500,000 subscribers. And getting there would be a great way to celebrate a decade of doing this on YouTube. And I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that supported me in that journey, regardless of whether you were here for my very first video or this is how you're being introduced to the channel. Today's review really is going to be a very simple one. See, you could boil this car down to numbers, talk about all of the improvements in terms of weight reduction, increased aerodynamics, power, that sort of stuff. But to be honest, when it comes to cars like these, they're all very impressive. They've all got metrics to make you go, oh, wow, isn't that amazing? And sure, in a race, every tenth matters. But we're not in a race. We're not even on a track. And on that topic, this car makes so much noise from its exhaust, you couldn't actually take it on most UK track days anyway. But the fact is, I expect most owners of these never intended to. What they might want to do, though, is just take it out for a quick blast. And so, when you do that, can this actually deliver the experience that you want? And even before you've opened the door, I do have some issues with this car. Now let's take the wild styling. It comprises a new Cofango at the front. A real piece of theatre, combines front bumper and bonnet in one hinged clam. It's very cool. But I must be getting old, because when I see stuff like that, my first thought is, oh dear, that's going to be very expensive to replace, isn't it? This is also a car where showing off the engine bay is needlessly difficult, because the cover for it is essentially bolted on. Now you can remove it fairly easily with a special 3D printed key, but under there you'll find, well, essentially the same 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10 as you got in just about every other Huracan. Here it makes 640 horsepower, which is great, and it's lovely to see a naturally aspirated engine last as long as this one did. The STO came out in 2021. I'm pretty sure it was intended to be the swan song for the Huracan, but rather confusingly we then got the Technica and also the STJ. And most shockingly, not only was it not, as far as I'm aware, a limited production numbers car, nor was it particularly expensive, clocking in at £260,000 plus options, of which there aren't that many to choose from. Today you will find a few optimistic types trying to sell low mileage examples for big money, trying to cash in on the recent explosion of pricing for lightweight limited cars such as the 360 Challenge Stradale, the 458 Speciale and even the Gallardo Superleggera, which I drove an example of this morning. In fact, you might see in a few shots we're following it. That belongs to my good friend the lovely Ant, and he's taken this car's owner, the fabulous Chris, out for a ride to show him the differences between old school and new. This feels much bigger inside, though in typical Lambo fashion you've still got acres of dash in front of you. There is of course plenty of carbon fibre in it too, though disappointingly I'm struggling to see any touches which are truly bespoke to the STO. The only one I can really spot is the little toggle down here for your modes, which gives you STO, Trofeo, that's race mode, and Pioggia, which is wet. These seats aren't the only ones you can have, they're probably one of the less exotic options. Still got carbon fibre in them, and compared to many other Lambo seats, they're not that bad. This car runs in two-wheel drive configuration, which I thought was very, very odd because, well, the whole point of Lamborghini for a long time has been their all-wheel drive bit. But for all the special edition stuff, they seem to have binned it, and to be honest, I'm not really sure I agree with that decision. I've driven a few cars from this generation, including the second-gen R8, which is fundamentally the same thing, and I found them to be wayward children without the help of that front axle intervening. Naturally, this thing's low, stiff, and it's incredibly loud. This one does have the optional Akrapovic exhaust, but even without it, it's a bit rude. Visibility naturally is a bit of a mixed bag. Out the front it's kind of okay, and your B-pillar's far enough back and thin enough you can see a little bit. Over that side there's virtually nothing, and in the rear view, forget about it. The wheels are enormous. The tyres appear painted on, though here mercifully they are Bridgestone Potenza Sports, the road biased option, not the track one. And the problem is that after only a few miles in here, it does start to feel like just about every other Huracan I've ever driven. At low speeds there's way too much assistance from the steering. There is a bit of texture and feel through it once you've got above car parking speeds, but dampers are needlessly firm, though I'll give it a pass in something like here. However, it just doesn't feel that exotic compared to a regular Huracan. Okay, sure, you could make the argument that the regular Huracan is already an exotic, and that's true, but for something this radical, for something this wild on the outside, I want something to match on the inside. But how's it to drive? Well, let's find out, shall we? Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it's very fast, it's very direct, does what you tell it to, makes silly pop-bang fart noises in Trofeo. In STO the gear shift is very disappointing, and in Trofeo it's quite disappointing. It does give you a bit more of a kick, and if ever there were a car crying out for a bumpy road mode, it's this. I don't know what it is with Lamborghini, but for years people were asking for either an individual mode or a bumpy road mode equivalent, and they just never gave it to them. Well, not until the Temerario. Put this car in Trofeo and every single imperfection in the road is amplified through the chassis. I'm constantly worried about a camera being flung off this thing. It's not helped by the fact that at low speeds the car makes some rather disconcerting creaking noises. Apparently that's the fin at the rear just realigning itself. Okay, Lambo. And so the whole experience, to be honest, just feels synthetic. Driving Ant's car this morning was a great counterpoint to this, because that really feels like a barely contained explosion. There's so much going on in the car, and yeah, a bit of it's the car just being somewhat wayward, but it is entertaining. It does feel like riding a bull and coming out unscathed. This feels like strapping on a VR headset, getting one of those vests that shakes you around, and, well, playing a video of a crap roller coaster. I'm being punished by the car, but I'm not being involved in the process. That's so infuriating. Oh, that was a big bang. This thing's got me so paranoid, honestly. It's just so firm. It's a test of every single bit of camera kit I've got. Oh, that sounds horrible. Oh, don't like that at all. Spin this round, have one more blast, and then take it back. Turning circle's better than in the guide. I'll give it that, you know. Consumer advice here on the channel, as always. And look, performance is very good. Traction is amazing. Gotta say, these Bridgestones are actually doing better than I thought. It's very, very warm today. 27 degrees apparently, so that will help. But to be honest, nah, I'm not a fan. As a thing to look at, it's awesome. When it pulled into the car park this morning, black and orange as opposed to the white and orange of Ant's car, oh, it looked good. But from in here, this is an 18-year-old's idea of a great drive. But it's not. It's just not. I've driven lukewarm hatchbacks from the 1990s that are more engaging than this. It's as simple as that. God, the noises this thing makes, oh, I don't like it. The brake pedal's overly sensitive too. And yeah, you can string some corners together and have a little bit of fun in it, but no more so than in basically any other Huracan I've driven. Honestly, I don't see a single reason to buy one of these over a Technica or an Evo other than the nuts looks. That's it. They weren't even that limited. They were everywhere when they built to them. Storage space has not really been a Lamborghini strength for a long time, if ever. But here, they took it to new levels of Mickey taking. You can't even get a helmet in the front of this. It's a joke. In fact, you can barely get a model helmet in the front of this, which is just as well, because I don't think I'd fit wearing one anyway. Oh, Lamborghini. I want to love thee. I really, really do. But you don't make it easy. Now, don't get me wrong. I am sure on track, all this aero stuff will make a difference. But with this still having number plates on, the way it feels on a road is still very important to me. And, yeah, it's just not good enough. Anyway, I am extraordinarily grateful to Chris for bringing this car out and sharing it with myself and Ant. If you want to see his opinion, please check out his video. It'll be coming out on his channel, Sports and Touring. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.